Just as the woman was about to take a shower, the doorbell suddenly rang. She assumed it was her husband and opened the door without checking. Then, she went back to the bathroom and continued her shower. But what she didn't realize was that her husband was still downstairs at the store, shopping. By the time he returned home, something felt off. There were smudges of blood on the stairs, leading all the way to their apartment door. A sinking feeling gripped Imad. Inside, the house was eerily empty. His wife was nowhere to be found. All he saw was shattered glass and blood on the bathroom floor. His heart pounded. Panicked, he rushed to the nearest hospital. There, in the emergency room, he finally saw her, her face covered in blood, doctors stitching up her wounds. From the neighbors, he learned what had happened. Someone had broken in. They had heard the sounds of a struggle, but by the time they stepped out to check, the intruder was already gone. All that remained was his wife, naked, lying in a pool of blood. This was their first day in their new home, and this was how it began. After bringing his injured wife back to bed, Imad lowered his gaze and suddenly, his breath caught a pair of men's socks. Rage surged through him. He grabbed them and threw them into the trash. Then he scrubbed his hands furiously, but he wasn't done. On the couch, he found a phone and a set of car keys. The intruder must have left them behind in his panicked escape. Imad took the keys and started trying them on different cars in the parking lot. It took several attempts, but eventually, one of them worked. A small delivery truck unlocked. He searched inside, but there was nothing useful. So he drove the truck down to the underground parking lot and left it blocking a neighbor's space. Sooner or later, the owner would have to come claim it. Back home, his wife pleaded with him to clean up the crime scene. She didn't want more people finding out. For a woman, she said, the burden would be even heavier to bear, but Imad refused. He was going to call the police. This had to be investigated. The woman mistakenly opened the wrong door, allowing a stranger to enter and assault her. When her neighbors found her, she was naked. If word of this incident spread to her workplace, she would never be able to hold her head high again. That's why she vehemently opposed Imad's suggestion to report it to the police. After the attack, she was emotionally shattered. She suffered from sleepless nights, haunted by nightmares every time she closed her eyes. One day, as Imad was about to leave the house, he noticed a stack of cash on top of the cabinet, with a condom placed on top. He put them in the drawer, intending to hand them over to the police as evidence. But the discovery filled him with rage. Desperate for answers, he confronted his friend who had rented them the apartment, only to learn that the previous tenant was a prostitute. Imad wrestled with his emotions for a long time. In the end, he picked up a mop and started cleaning the bloodstains off the stairs. Just then, a neighbor saw him and said, "If you had seen what the scene looked like that night, you wouldn't be doing this." The words hit Imad like a slap across the face. He had been on the verge of giving up on finding the attacker, but in that moment, his resolve reignited. Adding to his frustration, his wife neither allowed him to go to the police, nor let him leave her side. Eventually, his bottled-up anger exploded, and he lashed out at her. But as soon as the argument ended, guilt crept in. Seeing his wife in such a fragile state only made him feel worse. Wanting to bring some warmth back into their home, he invited a friend's child over to keep her company. With a child around, the house felt a little less empty. Later, Imad asked his wife where she got the money for groceries. When she told him she had taken it from the drawer, his heart sank. Without a second thought, he grabbed all the food from the table and dumped it into the trash, oblivious to his wife's shock and the child's presence. His determination to find the attacker grew stronger. His wife saw his obsession and confronted him, leading to a heated argument. The next morning, as they were about to leave for work, they suddenly realized the small truck was gone.